Good morning, Marketing 450. Welcome to another exciting episode of Mike and Cody in the morning. Man, it's been a wonderful semester thus far, hasn't it, Mike?
Oh, it's been a great semester. Glad to be wrapping it up.
Couldn't thank Coach Garver more for all the things he really taught us this semester. I'm really going to take everything he taught us into the future with me.
And in this presentation, we're going to wrap it all up, and it's going to be real nice.
Well, without further ado, let's get started. Here's our Marketing 450 final presentation, folks.
We're excited and hope you are too. So let's get started. So we took a quantitative research method approach and took surveys of marketing and logistic major students here at Central Michigan University, and we compared full-time and internship, both opportunities of what these students want when it comes time for graduation. Two of the biggest attributes that they found the most important are salary and a good culture within the working environment. We then compared even in more depth the attributes between internships and full-time, and we found that they were actually very similar in the attribute importance levels, with atmosphere, room for growth, and a cultural fit with their personality within the company being the top three most important, and dress code and stuff like social activities not being very important. We also compared Central Michigan University to other Michigan universities and found that here at CMU we actually have a drive and a passion for more meaningful type of work than some other universities do. And so we're not trying to get coffee anymore, right, Mike?
Heck yeah. Wait, you're telling me I don't get to get paid for doing nothing anymore?
No, life's not that easy anymore. It's going to have to be meaningful work with a drive for your long-term goals to really set you up for a successful future. All right, Mike, go ahead and take us through what it is we're going to be seeing in this awesome presentation.
All right. Before we begin, whatever happened to great cartoons? Mike, you remember those guys?
I do, man.
Man,
That was my childhood.
Man, I still remember waking up at 7 a.m. before the bus every morning, watching Looney Tunes. Man, life was great. It's hard to believe that we're looking for real big boy jobs now, huh?
Getting up at 7 a.m. to go make a great living and change the world now.
It's great though. It's great. All right, so let's get things started. Let's talk about our agenda this morning. All right, so to start things off, we're going to talk about our introduction. We're going to tell you a little story to kind of put things into perspective for you. Then we're going to tell you the objectives behind our research and how we found those objectives. And through that, we discovered the results by discovering who the sample was and if the sample actually looked like the population. Man, it's a good thing the sample does look like the population, right, Mike?
Oh yeah, it's extremely important in a research method of this sort.
And we wouldn't want to have to do a research study again. And then we're going to look at the attributes and see what attributes are most important to us future college graduates and whether or not they were the same as the ones that we were looking for in the internships.
You know, I think we're going to see a lot of similarities between the full-time and the internship attribute importance. I would imagine to be pretty close.
Oh, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. And then, did you ever hear anything back from Cody?
No, I haven't. Isn't he still out in South Beach?
Yeah, he must be looking at all the beautiful women in them thong bikinis.
You know, I was there last time, and now he must kind of want some revenge, so I think he's out there hanging out.
Son of a gun. Well, it's my turn next, but if we can get a hold of him, Cody's going to wrap us up for this evening and talk about the retention of the customer experience. As far as that goes, it's what are the most important attributes to us and how can other companies improve to get us more likely to join their teams. And then Cody will hopefully also wrap us up with a summary, summarizing not just the final presentation, but our just great experience, right, Mike, with Coach Gar.
And it has been a great experience, let me tell you.
Man, I can't wait to get things underway. Well, without any further ado, alright, so meet Joey. He's a recent CMU grad. He just packed his bags and took the Greyhound down to New York City.
He's got his pins, he's got his bag, and nice looking haircut.
Not to mention, look at that yellow tie. Woo!
He's looking fancy, he's ready to go. And he's a smart kid. He is very objective driven, and he has his goals set in a long-term sense for exactly what he wants.
Wants to make a lot of money, as you can see. But really, the question is which one of these companies is he going to pick? Now, all of these managers out there want Joey, not to mention because of his sweet hairdo, but he's a CMU grad. So the question is, what company is going to get the honor of landing Joey? You watch this presentation, you might have a better understanding of whom Joey might pick and why he picks them at the end.
Alright, so let's jump into some research objectives here. We started off with a sample, and our goal was to find a sample of graduating students that had aspirations for internships or full-time opportunities that would hopefully match the sample, or the population. Our sample would match the population. We made our decision about how do future graduates make career and internship choices, what attributes are most and least important to these choices, and what levels of performance are most and least preferred.
Then our max difference objectives were when the students were faced with two different choices, whether it be the most or least important to them. We wanted to know why they picked what they did and if there was a trend. And then the CX performance objectives were how did each performance attribute rank along the lines compared to Michigan graduates, and were there any key drivers? Were there any performance attributes that, I don't know, what would you say, Mike?
Basically, what key drivers are the influencing factors behind us CMU students compared to other students from different universities within Michigan? And then we went to customer experience importance objectives, and from a retention perspective, what's most important to CMU students? What keeps them coming back and looking for those opportunities? Alright, so jumping into CX improvement objectives, we look at what's important to us as graduating students, and what improvement opportunities do we need to fix, and what ones need to be fixed the very first, because those are the most important ones. The sample that we used was CMU Marketing and Logistics undergrad students, and it was a sample of 94 students. And the survey was developed with students, and it was pre-tested with students. And what did we do, Mike?
Oh, we revise. Alright, so let's take a look at our research methods. Coach Garv himself created a web-based survey that was administered through his Marketing 450 class this fall, 2016. And of course, like everything in his class, it was worth points. Surprisingly, it wasn't worth any competition points, and that's probably why we lost. Right, Mike?
Yeah, we are pretty competitive.
And like Ricky Bobby said,
you ain't first, you're last.
You're dead last. You know, this one's going to hurt for a while.
And we know that.
Yeah. Alright, so let's look at our research limitations for this research study. It is a relatively small sample. 94 students. It's not quite 100. It's not quite 200. And, I took the survey personally late at night, so there might have been a little bit of survey fatigue there as well. And I'll be honest, I didn't have too much experience with all the attributes. Did you, Mike?
You know what? No, I can't say I did. That is one limit for sure.
Yeah, that being said, I'm pretty confident in the results of our research.
We're very confident.
Alright, so let's take a look at our research results from our sample. Now, when we surveyed the sample, we found out that 57% was predominantly male, and the 43% was made up of females. Then taking a look at their desired job field, 64% of them were declared marketing majors, while on the other hand 36% were logistics. And believe it or not, 79% of them said that they completed an internship. And the 21, however, are still looking.
Fire up shit, 79%, that's pretty impressive.
That is. Alright, look at that. When looking at the majors, 91 declared marketing majors took the survey, as well as 54 logistics majors. And I know what you're thinking. Wait a second. That doesn't equal 94.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know. Let me clarify. We're offered a great education here at Central Michigan, so we had the privilege to get a double major. So some of those people in the survey were declared double majors in marketing and logistics.
Talk about a driven student, huh?
I mean, teamwork makes the dream work.
That's pretty impressive. So let's look at who the sample is. Sample is predominantly male, and it's more towards marketing majors. There's a higher percentage of marketing majors, and they have completed an internship. The sample is heavily populated with marketing majors. Does the sample look like the population? We sure do hope so, right, Mike?
Hell yeah.
So the results are kind of how you interpret the results, that the attributes share 100 points no matter what. The more points, the more important they are. Levels of preference work. 0 is average, negative is below average preference, and positive is above average preference. So as we can see for logistics students here, their attributes, you can see the top 2 are salary and culture. That goes for the wide range of any kind of employment opportunity. Those are the 2 most important attributes that we see right away.
And by no surprise, the more preferred salary is $60,000. Like, heck yeah, we gotta pay back our student loans somehow, so we might as well start making the big bucks right out of school.
I know I have to.
As far as culture goes, we really prefer some form of a culture that a company really stands by. Mike, tell us about the distance from home.
So, distance from home, come to no surprise, we want to be closer to home. When looking at our options of traveling through air to get to work every day, or 4+ hours, or just 1 hour, we're choosing that 1 hour less drive every time. Location is kind of the similar, you see a similar trend here. We have more of a preference for suburbs with closer locations, less of a drive, and less out in the rural, drive a half hour just to get to Meyer. What about the levels of the firm? Tell us about that, Mike.
I mean, for the logistics majors of the demographic that we did decide to do this on, most of them preferred to work for a 3PL carrier, maybe R&L, maybe C.H. Robinson, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of other options out there, but that's pretty fascinating. And as far as the environment that they wanted to work in, most of them wanted to work in an office. That's crazy.
Although that one was pretty close with all the other attributes.
Yeah,
too.
The field and plant though, they didn't really care either way if they worked in the field or the plant. So what does this all mean, and what should we do, Mike?
So this means that as CMU students here, we kind of have a common theme. We're looking for a good salary, a good job with a good culture, kind of close to home, kind of things that you would typically expect. So that means that these companies need to tailor their, what they offer if they want to attract, these awesome CMU graduates, because CMU graduates are pretty awesome.
I mean, look at those people on that slide. They look like they like to party.
They look pretty happy, let me tell you that. Pretty excited for their future. Alright, so let's jump into the next research method, being MaxDiff. This compares the attributes and what level of importance they have. They each share 100 points, and the more points, the more importance. And we compared full-time between internship positions. So, start off looking at internship here. We can see that the top 3 are way up there with atmosphere, room for advancement, and culture fit with personality. To then compare that, we jump into full-time attribute importance. What's the most important? Being room for advancement, again, atmosphere, and the culture they work in. And then we simply just take these and we compare them, and you can see that there's still this very similar trend with room for advancement, atmosphere, culture fit. But one thing to point out is that room for advancement was a bit more of had a bit higher importance with full-time positions than it did with the internship, which I find interesting. And also, you can see in the comparison that things like social activities and dress code and size of the firm are very important for both internship and full-time opportunities.
So what does this mean? I mean, here at Central, we really clearly, the statistics that are shown, we really are driven for long-term success. We're really just trying to do what isn't just best for us right now, but what is best for us in the future. By advancing further in our careers, we're really just always climbing that stairway to heaven. I mean, yeah, we want a fun atmosphere and a fun culture, but really we want meaningful work, and That's awesome. We love to work here at Central. Like, we are hardworking individuals, Mike.
We want
I didn't
room
even rea-
for advancement. We
I-
want to climb that ladder and make our way to the top.
What I thought was surprising, though, is that levels of stress was pretty low on the board, too. So I guess right now, we don't really have to focus on stress because we're so young. But maybe later on in life, that'd probably change.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, hang on a second. Mike, you see that?
Getting a phone call?
Hey, you think it's a butt dial?
It might be. It's from Cody, I think.
Oh, well. Let's listen in here. What's up, Cody?
Hey guys, this is Cody in South Beach right now. I gotta say, I'm loving the weather here. Don't know how much you guys are loving it up there, though. And
It's cold!
Oh yeah, I bet it is. Probably freezing your nips off. Alright, well, today I'm going to be covering the CX performance results with you guys, and some of the NPS score and some attribute importance. So we're going to start off and talk about the NPS. That's going to be the Net Promoter Score. It's the overall performance of how we are doing against the average. And we're going to start out with this chart here that shows what promoters are, passives are, and detractors. Promoters are 9s and 10s. Those are the people that really, really like us. Passives are the people that, they kind of like us. There are 7s and 8s. And then the detractors, those are the people that are probably writing in complaints. Those are 0 through 6. Then we're going to move on here to the NPS for careers. Promoters, we got a score of 47, not too bad. Passives, 22. Detractors, 31. That's pretty high. In the end, we're going to take our promoters and then subtract the detractors, and that actually gives us our NPS score, which, as you can see here, is 16. And then when we move to the next slide here, we're going to show you the importance of attributes. Now, if you look on the far left, these first 4 attributes here are going to be the most important to individuals when they're looking for an internship or a career. And if you look to the far right, the onboarding and stress level, things like that, not so important to people when they're making their choices. And, coming from my aspect, stress level, it's not that important either, so...
What kind of blood pressure medicine you taking, Cody?
Oh, it's medicated.
Oh, man, I need to get some of that.
You don't want any. Alright, and then on this next graph here, we're actually going to be comparing our attribute performance at CMU for CMU students versus what all Michigan University students say. Now, it looks pretty similar. Everyone's got, similar attribute importances about what they believe, from us to all Michigan University students. But once again, if you look on the far left, these are the things we're winning at. These are the things that CMU students believe are a little bit more important than what the average Michigan University students actually think are important. Those are going to be like variety of work, reputation, the culture fit, and actually doing meaningful work. And, on the far right, once again, these are the bad things. These are things we're losing at. These are things that we need to work on, and that, the normal universities, they find these things usually a little bit more important too. So things like that are going to be social activities after you leave your job, your atmosphere, the onboarding process, and once again, we see stress levels there. Even though we do want to say stress levels are not that important to much of anyone, CMU or Michigan students all around. Alright, so that's going to be it for the NPS and attribute performance, or attribute importance scores. Next, we'll be showing you some of our performance graphs and exactly how we are performing, how CMU students believe that internships are performing at their selected attributes. Now, we're going to be going over performance attributes, CMU students versus Michigan universities. These are the things that we're actually doing good at on this first graph here. These are the things that we're winning on, like variety of work, reputation, culture fit, meaningful work, amount of work, and compensation. You know, these are things that CMU students find very, very important to them and their internships and future jobs, you know, too. And this next graph, this graph's not so good. These are things that we're either about, you know, CMU students feel about the same as all Michigan universities, or the other students from different Michigan universities feel a little bit stronger about these things. Once again, that's going to be like our atmosphere, dress code, onboarding process, and stress level. Although for these selected attributes, our atmosphere and onboarding process are going to be a lot more important, because these are also things that we're high on attribute importance ratings as well. So these are things that we're really going to have to work on in the future, get you know, performance up and everything, and how people feel about their internships and their jobs and all of that. And next, we're going to go into CX importance. These are exactly breaking down those attributes, you know, us versus them, CMU versus all Michigan students, even though CMU students are the best. You and I know it, right, Mike? Right, Mike?
Oh yeah.
Fire up!
Oh yeah, there we go. Alright, so for this first graph here, this is going to be our attribute importance. On this one, you'll see reputation, meaningful work, culture fit. They're going to be on the far left there. Those are the key drivers for us there. Those are the things that we really need to focus on, because that's very important to future grads and everything. And these are the things that are going to help make people more happy when they go into an internship and a job. And then after that, you're going to see like compensation, atmosphere, like we talked about earlier, and aligned work aligned with the actual field that you're going into. These are going to be our second tier key drivers. They're still important, but not as important as those first three there. And then at the bottom, you got that the salary and variety of work, stuff like that. That stuff's it's not so important. All right, and for CX improvement results, these are going to be things that are, you know, highly voted for, needed to be improved, and regular stated over and over things by actual individuals, verbatim quotes, things like that about what we actually need to improve on and what internships and jobs need to improve on to help make people happy going into it. Right off the bat, almost 60% say we do need to improve, 59 to be exact. 41% says no. You know, obviously things need to change. People are not happy doing their internships. They're worried about their jobs after that. They're worried they're going to have boring work, and that you know, they're not going to fit with the company culture, and it's just not going to work for them. And then on the next graph here, we actually break it down a little bit more. 18% of people say that meaningful work is something that needs to be improved on. And the next highest one, compensation. And after that, it's amount of work, with along with interesting work and relationship. These are all things that we really need to focus on, because they're going to be things that you know, they're going to make more people happy. They're going to make them go into their jobs happy, do a better job at, you know, at doing what they do, and it's just going to create better work environments for everyone. Now, the stuff on the right, those are things that still need to be improved. Obviously, people did say that they need to be improved, but they're just not as important. Things that we need to focus on, but maybe not at the moment. Maybe a little bit more down the road, though. Oh, hey, wait, what was that? What was that? No, I'll take it shaken, not stirred. Oh, hey guys, it sounds like I gotta go, so I'm gonna send it back over to you. Hope you're liking that snow up there. I'm gonna enjoy my drink here and sit by the beach with all these nice little ladies.
Oh man, Cody, that sounds pretty nice.
I could go for a drink right now. Probably some schnapps and hot cocoa.
Yeah, it's a little cold down here, or up here. Well, let's wrap this thing up so we can try to get some tickets and get out there with you, Cody.
Yeah, you think they still got a red-eye flight right now? We can get down there probably in the morning, probably.
Hoping so, that'd be perfect. So what we did today was we took a quantitative research approach and took surveys of marketing and logistics students here at Central Michigan University to really understand what the students value and think is important when they're graduating and going out into the real world. Some of the main things we saw off the bat were salary and culture and your personality and the environment you're working in that culture being a good fit with you. Those were, in a broad sense, those were what were so important. We then broke it down into full-time and internships, and some of the trends that we saw between the two that were similar between the two were atmosphere and room for advancement and a cultural fit within the personality. With that being said, the least important were the dress code and the social activities. We then even compared ourselves from CMU to those of other universities throughout Michigan and found that here at CMU, we really have a drive to not be the coffee getters and to be the ones that have meaningful work and are really working towards our long-term goals. So now, what does that all mean, Mike?
Well, let's go back to that story about Joey. You remember he just got off that bus from New York, Mike, right? And fresh college grad with his nice yellow tie and his CMU pin and his CMU bag, and he's got all these opportunities in front of him. And a lot of these are Fortune 500 companies that are projected to be really profitable in the future. So they're feeling confident that alone will attract Joey to their business. But little do they know that if they don't improve on certain aspects of their company, that they won't get the best talent moving forward. They will lose that talent, and the companies, the startup companies, or the smaller companies that focus on the employee themselves, and in this case, the college student, they really tailor their business strategy around their employees and really adjust to their needs. They won't only get the most successful employees, they'll also become probably the most profitable companies in the end. And you know what? That's the whole goal of this entire project. It was to tell us, you will find a company later on in life, Mike. Like, you just don't settle either. Do your research. That's what it's all about.
It's all about that research, and especially us being CMU grads, we have that reputation of being the driven go-getters, and so it's a great thing for us.
And what better coach along the way to have than Coach Garber himself to teach us all about this, huh?
Yep, couldn't be more grateful for that. I think you wrapped that up pretty great, Mike.
All right, you folks have a great night. This is Mike and Cody. This might be it. I think this is the season finale.
This might be it. It's pretty sad, but we had a great run.
We did. All right, take care.